your host, Nicholas Ballasy, and today we have an excellent guest after his speech here at Ryder. We're here with Hurricane Carter, former professional boxer, and now he is a motivational speaker who comes to colleges to speak.
And that's Dr. Rubin Carter.
Dr. Rubin Carter. I went by your nickname, which actually brings me to the first question: how you got the nickname Hurricane?
Well, here in Jersey, I was prize fighting at the time, 50 years ago or more, and a particular fight promoter, Jimmy Collado from Union County, he was in the Madison Square Garden Farming Club, and I was fighting for him, and as my fast and furious style of fighting became people's favorite, and people named me the Hurricane.
I understand that you joined the Army, actually, when you were 17 years old.
That's correct.
What influenced you to join the Army, and which is where you actually started boxing?
Well, you have to understand that when I was 17 years old, that was 50 years ago. And 50 years ago in this country, the United States, is a different country then than it is now. Not much different, but different then. Because this country was a society that was openly segregated.
Okay.
You understand? And there were people all over the world fighting for their freedom. Well, Africans in America were also fighting for our freedom at that time. And we was catching hell for it, you know?
Right.
My first 18 years of my life, I couldn't talk. I stuttered very badly. So fighting became just a natural thing for me. Because if you're going to attack people when they laugh at you, you better damn well know how to fight, or you're going to get your butt whooped. So that's what got me into fighting. And I joined the military at the age of 17 and began boxing in the military. In fact, in 1956, I qualified for the Olympics.
Oh, wow.
In 1956.
Wow.
Fighting for the Army.
Now, what lessons, basically on everything, I mean, would you give to the youth, based on your life experience?
Well, we're all youth.
Yes, we all still have some youth in us,
right? You know, in a very real sense. I say to the generations that exist now that go to Ryerson University and who go to other schools and to live, believe in yourself. Dare to dream. Dare to visualize your dreams. As I said in the talk, the conceptualization is the elevated act of human being called dignity. Dare to dream. Once you are able to visualize your dreams, you change according to what your dream is. So dare to dream. Don't ever give up on yourself. Don't ever give up on yourself. That has been my life's lessons in life. Never giving up. Daring to go all the way. Daring to believe in yourself. That's the dream.
Now, your experience in actually with the whole judicial system and being in prison for over 20 years of your life, how do you look at the judicial system and what happened in your case?
Well, you know, as founder and CEO of Innocence International, we go into prisons all the time. And the thing that is most important to understand is that we are not who people think they are. You know, we look at ourselves as being black, white, blue, purple, Democrat, Republican, Christian, Jew, Muslim, all those different.
A lot of labels.
A whole lot of labels,
right.
Which mean nothing. And this generation needs to understand that those labels mean nothing and that you are more than that. That you are actually a flower from the sun, a seed planted in organic life with the ability to accomplish anything you wish to accomplish down here. That is what is most important to believe. And that's what I believe.
And based on, you know, everything that happened to you and them actually with the judicial system and you being innocent in the end, what did you do after you got out? I mean, being in jail that long, did you sue the state or did you take any repercussions or?
No, well, one thing, I couldn't sue the state.
Okay.
I couldn't sue the state because the state was going to take me back for a third trial. And I lived that nightmare in my mind, a third trial with the same state witnesses, with the same jury, with the same judge, and the same results will result from that third trial, which would be a guilty verdict.
Right.
And I would be slammed back into prison again. So I informed the Attorney General of the state of New Jersey that I would not seek compensation for those 20 years in prison. And the Attorney General then informed the Passaic County Prosecutor's Office to dismiss the indictment and drop the case and let this go. That is what really kept me out of prison.
Oh, okay.
You understand?
I understand.
Because they were worried that I was going to sue them for the 20 years that I spent in prison,
Right.
which would have been equal to about $1 billion. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And they don't want that. So, so that was the reason why.
I can't even imagine what was running through.
Yeah. The thing that I wanted to say,
Uh-huh.
which I cut you off and I'm sorry.
No problem.
That it makes no difference what happens to us in life.
Right.
Because it happens to everybody in one way or another. It makes no difference what happens to you in life. What is important is what you do with what happens to you in life. That is important. And because of what happened to me in life, today my life work has become defending innocent people.
That's
Today
great.
I
That's
serve
great.
on the board of directors of the Southern Center for Human Rights
Wow.
in Atlanta, Georgia. The board of directors of Death Penalty Focus of California. The board of directors of the Alliance for Prison Justice in Boston. And just recently finished a 13-year stint as executive director of the Toronto-based Association in Defense of the Wrongly Convicted.
Wow.
Because of what has happened to me, this has become, defending innocent people have become my life's work.
So a lot of your work is based on helping people who sort of was in a situation like you. There are a lot out there, in other words.
Exactly. There are many, many out there. In fact, Governor Ryan, former Governor Ryan of Illinois, he put a moratorium on the death penalty because out of 25 people executed in Chicago, 13 were eventually exonerated and cleared of the crime.
Wow.
And so, I mean, Governor Ryan said, none of that. I'm going to close this whole thing down. That's what needs to happen throughout the entire country. Because with the death penalty comes an attitude of violence, viciousness, hate, anger. And that attitude eventually permeates into society itself, where everybody becomes victims. Everybody hates. Everybody's angry. And justifiably so, they think, because they are a victim, I'm justified to be angry. Well, everybody thinks that they're a victim.
Right.
So everybody's angry. You know what I mean? And we need to understand that that anger does not belong to us. That anger is not in us. That anger exists out here, you know? And we need to understand that. And so your generation of young people can live differently than my generation of young people. Because that's what life is all about. It's about learning, living, loving, being gentle to one another, and not going to war. As there's war, there's about 35 wars going on in this world right now. I mean, in America is involved in 4 or 5 of those wars. You know what I mean? It's crazy. You have to get these old fogies like me out of government. The Bushes and the Cheneys, get them out of government. You young people take over. You young people take over and say, we won't have a death penalty. We will not go to war unless somebody attacks us, unless somebody really does something to us. We will not do that. This is your world. This earth is your earth. It's not mine. It's yours. It's the future's and not the past. You guys need to get involved in every element of this government and assert yourselves and say, no, we don't want to live in hate anymore. We don't want to live with anger anymore. We don't want to live with skin colors anymore, because they don't exist in reality. And then you guys can make this world a much better place.
So that's one of the things, the main thing actually you think that needs to occur in order for things like your situation not to happen again?
Absolutely, but things like my situation is happening all the time. You got hundreds. In fact, there was a program on CNN the other night. It's called Presumed Innocence. And it was showing how many innocent people were wrongly convicted because of bad crime labs. And how many people's conviction had to be overturned because of bad crime labs. You guys need to address that. And it needs to be addressed. This total system needs to be addressed. And you guys are capable of doing that.
And so basically with your whole situation and being in prison for as long as you were, what evidence was brought forth in order for that trial to happen that eventually got you free?
None.
No evidence?
There was no legal, legitimate evidence. It was manufactured.
Okay.
If you would read the federal court's decision for all the way from the district court in Newark, New Jersey, to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals in Philadelphia, to the United States Supreme Court in Washington, if you read those things, everything becomes very clear. Because everything that the state of New Jersey took me through 2 trials never existed. Never existed. It was all made up. It was all phony. And because you had your judges and your prosecutors and all of those working together, it was easy to get a conviction.
So it was the evidence that eventually, there was no evidence that got you the last trial? It was your lawyer pressing for that all that time?
The evidence that got me the last trial was the recantation of these 2 paid criminal witnesses that the state put up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that caused me 2 convictions, those 2 same state witnesses. Even though they recanted their testimony, even though they were paid $10,000 for their lies in court, even though they were put into the witness program, and you know what I mean? Even though all of that, they would have brought these people back in there again. Mm-hmm. And I would have been convicted again.
All right. Well, I words cannot describe your situation. I read up a lot about you, and it's incredible. And I really want to thank you for taking time to offer your inspirational words and insight on life.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. It was great having you.
Thank you.
That's good.
Somebody say cut.
So, cut. Enjoy the program you're headed to. Thanks a lot.